Today is Saturday, April 14th, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor Ghost Island Week 7.
We do the recaps on Wednesday. On Saturday, it's your show. The other Survivor superfans take over, send in their thoughts, their predictions for us all to contemplate and enjoy and go, I didn't think about that. Or, that's a good idea. Yeah. That's who I'll vote for to go out next.
Okay, Arsenio.
Yeah, it's an old reference now, isn't it? These youngins probably won't even recognize it.
No, probably won't.
Yeah. All right, how many folks signed up for today's show? Was it 10?
24.
I was going to do a build-up, but okay, yeah, 24. No, you put the kibosh on the build-up?
You go right ahead.
24. Woohoo! Yes. Awesome. Outstanding.
I know, I thought so too.
Yep, people are excited about this merge episode. They're using superlatives like this is one of the best merge episodes ever.
I concur.
Yeah, it was exciting for sure. All right, let's check in. Let's get this thing started, get the ball rolling. What does Pete have to say about this merge episode?
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, this is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh, yeah, what a merge, baby. One for the ages. Woo! Woo! Now you guys gotta sing with me again. Na, 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 na. Hey, goodbye. Yo, 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 Chris Noble has left the island, baby. The big jockey, douchey, wooshy, whatever you want to call him, is left the building and his ego got the better of him, similar to Bradley. And yet another person goes home in their pocket. Chris, what goes around comes around, bro. But he was fun to watch. I gotta say, guys, that Dom and Chris feud was like Red Sox Yankees. I loved it. They were going at each other's throats back and forth, and I'm so glad they both made the merge, and Dom got the winning end. That was awesome, and I love that he played the legacy advantage, even though he may not have needed it, but you could see he had doubt in his mind, and I love that he didn't waste his idol either, and neither did Wendell. That's awesome, and Michael still has his idol too, so we'll see now. All the advantages are still in play, even Kellen's extra vote, and she obviously didn't need that because she ended up winning immunity anyway. Good for you, Kellen, but wow, this episode was just nuts. Back and forth, Chris getting a clue on his buff, luck of the draw, somehow sneaking a ghost island, and it looks like no one saw him somehow based on what the edit was, and he couldn't vote, but he still found the idol at Ghost Island. But like JT, he got voted with the idol, but at least it was in his pocket, and he didn't leave it on the island like JT did. But still, man, he goofed, and he let the ego get the better of him. But he'll be fun at Ponderosa. He'll probably wrap it up a storm, I'm sure. Rap, Chris, rap. Come on, Chris. Oh, but this episode was awesome, guys, and I really love Dom and Wendell. This is going to sound crazy. Them two, along with as crazy as it sounds, Kellen, are my top picks to win, with maybe Michael as the underdog with Donathan. Those are my top 4 or 5 right now. Dom and Wendell now, my new top 2. I mean, they're threats, yeah, but I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon now. This is going to be a fun roller coaster now from here on out, guys. What a great merge. What do you guys think? I mean, man, is JT's idol curse or what? Or is it just dumb play there by Chris as well? You know, he was so full of himself, it seemed. It was laughable, too. I loved it. Great episode. Want to hear what everyone else had to say, guys. Take care. Woo!
Thanks, Pete.
Well, I'll just say I don't think there was anything wrong with the idol.
Yeah, definitely not. The commonality is in the error there, for sure. Oh, my goodness.
Human error.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. All right, thanks again, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Shea.
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Stacy. This is Shea. I'm going to keep this one pretty short. I was really excited for the merge, was happy about all the action. Tribal Council could have really been a hidden immunity idol blowout. Had no clue how that was going to go, and I really appreciated that I didn't know how it was going to go. I remember last season at this point, there were so many people that I would be fine with winning. It's so funny because I just really enjoyed everyone. And I really like this cast too, but I don't know that I'd be glad to see anybody win. I think at this point, I'm down to Michael, Wendell, Donathan, and Lauren/Laurel, however you want to say it. Michael, because I'm truly rooting for him. Wendell, because I think he's a nice person. And Donathan and Laurel are both just, I don't know, not sympathy votes by any means. Just, I think it'd be really great for them to win. That's it. That's all. No other reason than that. And so much for this being short, right? I do want to say this for certain. I truly hope that in the last 24 hours, someone has explained to Chris what suave or suave means. It is not interchangeable with smart or intelligent, like when they were trying to convince him to stick together as Navidi and vote someone else out. He said he was too suave to buy all of that. Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever. I truly think he meant savvy, as in shrewd, but yeah, I hope somebody has explained that to him so he'll quit saying it. I'm embarrassed for him. And you know, like when you're watching a movie and someone does something so stupid, you cover your eyes because you feel bad for even seeing it. Every time he opens his mouth, I feel that way. Really enjoyed the show, really enjoyed your show, and I absolutely cannot wait to hear everybody else make fun of Chris. Okay, you guys have a great day. Bye.
All right, good one, Shea.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a proper observation for sure. The only catch, though, is that you're assuming or hoping that somehow Chris has that level of self-awareness where he would admit it, that he had used it incorrectly in some way, or that he would listen to someone else try to enlighten him to that extent. So he strikes me as someone who's not really open to that kind of learning.
Cringeworthy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thanks again, Shea. Next up, we got a call from Sophie. Oh, Sophie and the kids.
Hi everyone, it's Sophie in Texas. Amazing episode. Producers did a fantastic job. Wow, I had Chris to go, but all day I was thinking it's going to be Libby, and then I didn't have a chance to change it. So when I was watching it, I thought, I knew they were going to go after Libby. But no, Chris, it was just back and forth so much. It was absolutely fantastic. I don't think it was fair that Kellen won. I knew a girl would win that episode. Girls are usually good at holding their hands above their head for a long time. Like Parvati went on for like 6 hours with her wrist up in the air. So when it was down to 3 girls, it was like, I knew it. And then Libby was there. And yeah, I just knew though, when I saw the sticks, go watch it back, you can see that obviously Kellen is going to win. She has the line of the middle of the pole about 5 to 10 inches, not on the center of her head. She's got it way to the side. So the idol that she was balancing wasn't bouncing as much in the air. Her pole was a lot more stable. And I really don't think that's fair that Jeff, he couldn't probably see it where he was standing. But yeah, obviously she was going to win. Her pole was very stable. Next week, I think it will be fun if everyone's after Michael, Wendell, and Dominique. And then they've all got idols, so it's just going to get better and better. Dominique's a threat because he's really good at telling stories, and He's charming, but I think people can see that he is, untrustworthy. I think it was fantastic. Ghost Island was fantastic. I really enjoyed that he went there at night. He got away with it. Poor Chris, but good to see him go. I think it would be good if, after quite a few people have already got voted out, then maybe when it's down to 5 or 6 or 7, if they're sent to Ghost Island, they get a choice of bringing one of the jury members back, maybe to work with, or it'd be fun if they could take your pick to bring somebody back onto the island. So maybe Chris could come back, or whoever else is voted out next. Okay, I'm going to leave 30 seconds for my kids' comments. They're at school right now, but I think they might have something to say. So, I was just watching it and imagining all of us Survivor fans in a room watching it together, and it would just be so much fun if that could happen one day. Take care. Bye. So my kids just wanted to add something about next week.
Next week, I can't wait to see what they're going to eat and the challenges, and hopefully it's a really good reward for all that's disgusting that they ate.
I'm really sad that Chris has to go home because he was really cool, and I really wanted him to come back, and I liked his drama. It was really fun.
Yeah. Well, you remind me of Chris a bit. You're really sweet, looking after me, and I think that's what you're going to look like when you're older. Anyway. He's good looking. Okay, bye everyone. Say bye.
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 All right. Thanks, guys. Next up, we got an email from Tina in Virginia. Well, this says this. We got a directorial note here, right? This is as Chris.
Mm-hmm. Tina as Chris.
Tina as Chris. Okay. All right. So here we go. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is male model Chris Noble here. Since you both don't do exit interviews anymore, I thought I would write in so your listeners can hear from me, the model Chris. I am a man of many talents like the former player Debbie. I am a model, a baseball player, a rapper, and most importantly, a leader, a suave leader. As a leader, I take risks, and I am the beneficial of good genes. I'm reading this exactly how she wrote it, just so you know.
Yes, it's Chris.
Yes. I was asked to play Major League Baseball, but decided I wanted to do Survivor instead. And if I may humbly add, I almost went to the Olympics this past winter to play beach volleyball in Korea, North Korea, because when it is winter here, it is summer there. As I mentioned many times before, I am not only a model, but I am also really smart. It is very beneficiary to me. Everybody wants to be me, and everybody wants a piece of me, like a precious commodity. I have it all. Everyone I meet loves me. There is a lucky lady out there that will get me, and she will be thankful for the rest of her life. She will be very beneficiary. As for being voted out, I am clutch and not sweating it. I am the beneficial of good genes and many good options. This is just a stepping stone. I am all muscle and well-built. People like to look at me. They really look at me. Is that a little Sally Field thing there, maybe? Okay. You can call me Swagger. I am a better player than Dom and Wendell. They thought they could manipulate me in working with them. I was too suave to fall for their tricks. I told them I will not work with them. I am a genius, a stable genius. I see what you did there. I know who you're referring to by doing it that way. In summary, I can connect with people well. They all like me. I can engage in any conversation and always share my stories and prove that I am better at everything and have better stories. That is how confident I am. I am Dwayne Wade. I am a triple threat, smart, strong, and suave. Not only do I have good genes, but I also look real good in them. Model Chris out. All right. Thanks, Tina. Good job. I like your creativity there. Well done. Next up, got a call from KimJ. First call in, but we hadn't heard from her in a while.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is KimJ from Nashville. It's been a couple seasons since I've left any feedback, and this is the first time I've left voicemail feedback. I'm always running a couple of episodes behind. I haven't missed a podcast, but this week I snuck and watched the episode before my husband. I just couldn't wait to see the Dom and Chris showdown, and it very much lived up to the hype. It was hilarious to watch Chris not play his idol. What an idiot. I mean, he got a absolute gift from the Survivor gods to get the idol to begin with. How could you not play it? Have we ever had a contestant that is as egotistical as this guy and as dumb as this guy? Oh my goodness. I'm almost going to miss listening to him talk about himself every single episode. But then again, maybe not. In Wendell's SmackDown, That was hilarious. Hilarious. I know he was basically copying Chance the Rapper, who's a real-life rapper, when he put Chris the Rapper on his parchment. And Chris whining in the media all this week about how Wendell showed no class. Come on, man. Just take a joke. Lighten up. Really. Really. And sadly, I know we're going to see this guy on another season. I'm sure the producers just ate this up. He's going to be back. I'm already preparing for it. It's fine. And Dominic was hilarious, too, with his, and I'm voting for Chris. It's been a pleasure serving you coffee for 22 days. That was pretty epic, too. And now on to the two of them getting voted out. As for the 2 rogue votes, I'm pretty sure that was planned. I mean, should Chris have played an idol, they needed a backup plan. And I think that's what those 2 votes were. I don't think they're out of the loop. Maybe we'll see next week. Maybe we won't, because there was no mention of Bradley's exit this week, which I thought was really weird. I thought we would at least get Kellen asking, like, what happened, but nothing. Very, very weird. Kellen is definitely putting herself in a good position, as are all the Navidi women, because after Dominic goes and Wendell goes and Michael goes and Libby goes, they're going to be in a really great position to run the table. Kellen maybe has more of a mark because she's been to Ghost Island a couple of times, but good luck for those of you playing JSFL, picking a new USB. I have no idea. Well, until next week, thanks so much, Joanne and Stacey, for all that you do. Can't wait to hear what everybody else says. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Right. Great to hear from you again.
That was a really good point.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think that could well be the case.
I
hadn't really thought about it.
We'll probably, if they give us After Tribal at the beginning of the next week's episode, that's where it could pan out, I suppose, where we would get some sense of it. There was nothing in the extra videos that hinted at why that went down that way.
No, but that makes sense.
It does.
That they had a backup.
Explained it very well.
That the inner circle knew.
Opted and had a backup.
So, yeah.
And decided to spend a couple votes on it, just in case, to avoid a 1-1 tie. Right. They said, we'll burn 2.
Yeah.
I
like that.
She may be onto something. Either that or those 2 ladies are way, way out of the loop. So we're definitely looking forward to
I think her version makes more
sense than ours, yeah. Yeah, we're anxious to find out how that plays out. Great to hear from you again. Next up, we got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. So, Suave Chris is gone. The Suave Chris who exited the game without even having cast a single vote. And he's on the jury now. Good. Oh, God, I went and saw the Ponderosa video, and what I saw really wanted to stab my eyes when he was singing in those little blue swimsuits or whatever he was wearing. Now, I have a few questions, and I was wondering why Tom and Wendell did not follow the rest of the tribe when they all went to the water well at the behest of Mr. Chris. Shouldn't they have just followed there and just stood there to see what was going on? And I loved the Ghost Island visit at night. It was so spooky, and the nighttime adventure was very interesting. Now, I was just wondering, if Chris hadn't played at the Ghost Island, he hadn't gone for the second shot at the bamboo, if he could increase the life of the idol, and then he would have had to play it, and then subsequently, then when he was at Tribal, he would have played it. So in that case, it would have been a different scenario, wouldn't you think? And then Libby would have been gone. I still think Libby's in danger, and she could be the next to go out. So, end of a really interesting and entertaining episode. Can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. Bye.
All right, yeah, I think you're right. He would have had to play it, and then we would have gotten that result. Maybe it would have played out just like KimJ was thinking in that regard. Good deal. Thanks, Rashmi. Next up, we got another voice we hadn't heard from in a while. Got a call from Rodney.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey and Survivor fans. It's Rodney from Illinois. It's been a long time since I've called, but I've been super busy. I'm in school to get my nurse practitioner, and with my 8-month-old, the 2-year-old, I've been really, really busy. But to get to the season, how in the world could you not see that you are a target when you have a personality like Chris's? You had an immunity idol, and you did not play it. You are a curse in and of itself. I cannot believe Chris did not play an idol. It was so obvious, especially when Dominic yells, "I'm voting for Chris." You play your idol. I think if Chris would have not won an extra day on his idol, he would have just played it. It was the worst thing for him to win an extra day for his idol. That was ridiculous. I do not like how Wendell acted. It kind of makes me feel bad that he's my USB, but I'm not changing that because he does have a good edit overall. I don't see Dominic staying in the game forever. I think Kellen will chop him off at the knees coming soon. But everybody else seems like duds to me right now as the season carries on. I only could see Dominic, Wendell, and Kellen going much, much further. A case could be made for Michael, but I think that he is a smart player, but will be outplayed because of inexperience, and I don't see him staying in the game much longer either. I foresee the season fizzling out now that there's not the Chris and Dom war going on. How awesome would it have been if Dom plays his idol, Chris plays his idol, Wendell plays his idol, and Michael plays his idol? It would have been great, because then next week I have more to look forward to. More war. Thanks for all that you guys do, and as always, have a great week.
All right. We're glad you found some time to call back in. That was awesome. Thanks, Rodney. Next up, we got an email from Ian in Woodland Hills, California.
Yes, not yes, as I am Gen X. I really didn't like Dom in the beginning, but he turned out to be a whole lot better than Chris. While I'll miss Chris's absurdity, I'm glad that things turned out the way they were supposed to. Dom still has an idol, my USB Wendell still has his idol, and Desiree and Angela are exposed for their Libby plot. I thought Libby was definitely going home tonight because I also thought the testosterone war would end up having Chris, Wendell, and Dom playing idols. In the end, the Survivor gods answered my prayers, and I got a vote-off point for Chris. Next week, I'm scared for Wendell because keeping an idol a secret is apparently the hardest thing to do. I was hoping Laurel would team up with him, but alas, it doesn't seem so. Something tells me an all-girl alliance is budding.
Maybe.
Lastly, is it just me, or do Donathan and Chris's hair always look perfectly styled? Do they have island pomade at their disposal? I always appreciate your entertaining yet loving bickering. All right, thanks, Ian.
Yeah. Maybe it's coconut oil or something. I don't know.
Huh?
That they're putting their hair.
For their hair.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yep. Good deal. Next up, got a call from Ronda. She's back.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, everyone. It's Ronda from Portland. I know you haven't heard from me in forever, and I apologize for that, but I have not been very interested in the show, so I haven't had anything positive or interesting to say about that. I just wanted to say that now I'm in, and the reason that I'm all in is because of Wendell's vote when he did the whole Chris, you're not a rapper. Is that his name, Chris? Yeah, Chris, you're not a rapper. I thought that was fantastic. And I hope Wendell wins because I think he's great. And I think he's really hot, too, because you know how much I love the hot guys. So that's kind of all I have to say about it. I hope Wendell wins. I think he's smart, and I think he's strategic, and I think everyone likes him, and I hope he wins. And if he continues to do well, then I will continue to send feedback, and I hope everyone's doing well. And again, sorry for my absence. I know you must have missed me. I know it. I know it. Okay, bye-bye.
Yes, but we try really hard not to be too needy. So all those folks that Joanne and I are talking about during the week saying, oh, I wish we could hear from so-and-so and this one, and where did they go? And, you know, all that. So we don't broadcast it, but we're thinking about you. We're wishing you'd call in every week. Thanks, Rhonda. Good to hear from you, although it may be a short visit to the podcast this season. I think Wendell's in jeopardy. Yeah, good deal. Next up, we got a call from Brandon.
What's up, Joanne and Stacey and Survivor fans? Brandon from Cleveland. What a great episode. Oh, my goodness. I was blessed to be able to turn 31 today, make it through another year. And I'm telling you, as a birthday present, what a great, fantastic episode of Survivor. It was the gift that kept on giving. I thought it was one of the best merge episodes ever. I just love this whole war with Dominic and Chris, two great Survivor characters. Like, I think these probably two of the best Survivor characters of the modern Survivor era, I would say. And then they actually fooled me with the vote. For a time, I thought it was going to be Dominic. I thought it was going to be Chris. I thought it was going to be Wendell. I thought it was going to be Libby. And I thought it just had me on the ropes. I didn't know who was going home. And that Wendell confessional, oh my gosh, that was the most hilarious thing ever. I think that might have been the most hilarious Survivor moment of all time. And that's saying a lot. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I might be using a little bit of hyperbole. Well, you know what? I really love Philip with the crispy rice stuff. So I don't know. But either way, that was fantastic confessional. And I think I gained a vote off point. I don't remember. I think I had Chris going home, but I'm not sure. It was a lot of fun, and I will talk to you guys next week. Peace. Hey, also, I wanted to mention a couple more things real quick. One, about last week, I didn't call in. It was a great episode, but I discovered, basically, there's two friends of mine that I just became pretty good friends with within the last 6 months because of knowing another mutual friend. But it turns out they're big Survivor fans, and I hadn't known this fact, and this is awesome because nobody in my circle, family or friends, watches Survivor. I'm like the only one, so the only communication I have with Survivor is pretty much with you guys, the podcast community. And so it was really good just talking to both of them for a good 2 or 3 hours this past Saturday on Survivor, about Survivor. And I was actually going to suggest we do like a group call into the podcast, but they have to catch up for this season. They had, it's a married couple, they had only watched up into the Brendan boot. So I just wanted to throw that out there as part of the reason why I didn't send in feedback for last episode, even though it was great. We just lost two great villains in a row with Bradley and Chris. And also, the second thing I just wanted to mention, if I was Dom in that challenge, I would have lost very, very quickly. When it comes to bees or wasps or yellow jackets, hornets, whatever, flying insects with stingers, it would have been no mas. I'm tapping out. No freaking way. I'm sorry, I can't do it. All right, but that's it. I'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.
Peace. Happy belated birthday.
Yes. And did he just tell us that he didn't call in because he didn't need us?
I think so, but that's good. He's leaving the nest.
We're glad to have new friends, too. But don't forget us.
Yeah, we're very happy for you. You got some new Survivor buddies.
It is exciting when you find somebody.
Yeah, you make that connection.
Our family's the same way, really.
Well, I got one sister who follows.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, my mom used to, but she doesn't anymore.
Yeah, it's a little much for her to keep up with all that, especially with 20 people seasons, huh?
Well, yeah.
At 90, that's quite the chore.
Yes, she does very well, but that's a little too much.
Yep. All right. Good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in, sharing all that news, Brandon. Next up, we got a call from Drew and the Morning Breakfast crew.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew and
Charlie and Alan
and Harold
and Harold
and Clive, our two new dinosaur friends that they found downstairs, and they are insisting that I give them names. So those are the names I chose. Harold and Clive. Also Milo, and we're just finishing up some breakfast, and we have some quick thoughts to send about this most amazing episode. Okay, I realized after I sent my feedback last week that I wasn't nearly as excited about Bradley. I didn't even mention him, but, I said some things on the Facebook group, but that's just so funny. I was so caught up in getting my feedback done that I totally forgot the most exciting thing, because that was also my first vote out point for the whole season, and it was just such a wonderful tribal council. But I will say, 2 weeks of wishful thinking vote out points in a row. I mean, that's all I'm saying, right? I thought I probably shouldn't go with Chris because it just seemed kind of like that's what they wanted me to think, and then I had kind of this gut feeling after it was too late to change my vote that maybe Chris was probably sticking around and was going to prolong this thing, but then I couldn't change it anyway, and then it turned out to be fine. And so I guess the moral of this story is sometimes your gut is just wrong. So, I mean, the bloviating of Chris, the waffling during the attempted reconciliation, that was just awful. I'm so glad that he did that so that Wendell could see there was just no point to do this. He's just so clueless. And then he went to Ghost Island, and I was like, no, why did he have to get that? And then I was grumbling, but then I thought, this is perfect. If he goes home with this in his pocket, that would just be perfect. And then, I'm jumping, but he said, oh, at least I left with it in my pocket and not back at camp. But I think that's worse, because he could have played it. It was there. He could have played it at any second, and he didn't. I think JT's situation was a little better, because at least it wasn't, on his person. Come on. Poor JT. All right, a couple of things. Kellen seemed really excited to win individual immunity, so I thought that was actually kind of neat. I'm not a huge fan of her, but, man, she just really knows how to work the camera. I guess they skipped one leg of the challenge. They just didn't show it to us, since probably not much happened. I think that's why it jumped ahead to 20 minutes or whatever it was. That explains the jump. Anyway, Tribal Council is just wonderful, and it was a little bit the same with Bradley, even more so last week, how they can be sitting there listening to people say these things. They're talking about them directly, but they just don't get it. Like, Bradley didn't get that they were all talking about him, and it's just so funny because they're so aware, they're so brilliant, their game's so strong, and then they just don't understand. And then the progression of Chris's expressions and the ever so slowly dawning realization of what was happening with each vote that came his way. I just wanted to do a series of screen caps of his face every time. It was like a gradient effect. It was really hilarious. It just never ceases to amaze me. It never does how people can just sit through the entire Tribal Council and not realize that people are talking about them. Just a lack of game, a lack of self-awareness, and winner of the week, Dominic. And I'm just going to stick with him, you guys, because I think he has as good a chance as any, even more than others, because he just has a really strong story and he has an idol still.
He's going to win.
Oh, Charlie's getting a new USB of Michael. Who do you think is going to win, Adelaide? No, it has to be one of these. Not Bradley. Gosh, no. Oh, Jenna. Okay, Michael and Jenna. I asked Julie this morning. She said she's leaning toward Chelsea, but I think I'm going to stick with Dominic. Oh, loser of the week, Chris, of course. Come on. All right, I'm going to close this out. You guys have anything else to say?
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye. Okay. You want to say anything, Milo?
Goodbye.
Dinosaurs too. Okay, have a great weekend. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Drew. Next up, we got an email from JoshU. Hi, Joanna and Stacy. This is my first time writing into the show. Welcome to the show. I want to ask what you think will happen if there is an alcoholic reward up for grabs in an upcoming challenge. I remember that Jeff singled Will out in Millennials versus Gen X whenever there was alcohol included in the reward, soft drinks for Will. Do you think he will do the same for Michael, given that he is also underage, or will the show just let it slide? Thanks. All right. Thank you, Josh.
Well, I think they might have had some wine at the merge feast.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it. Yeah.
But definitely they're going to have, on the preview for next week, they're going to have margaritas.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Stacy also looked it up. So I don't think that they could have said anything because they would blow his cover of being older. So
why do you think that, though?
Well, I just don't.
That was his choice to.
Yes, it was his choice.
Put that lie out there.
That's exactly right. However, it's their obligation then, if that is his story, not to out him.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Survivor's not fair.
You listen to me.
You want me to go get my hush cap? Or your hush cap, rather?
Yes, get my hush cap for you. And
I don't agree with you, but keep going.
Okay. Well, at least let me finish saying. And I think they would need to tell him either before the game started, okay, if we're going to keep your secret and this is your story, we have to let you know that you cannot abuse alcohol or you can't do any of those things when the rewards come around that where we serve alcohol. Mm-hmm. You can't partake. And if you do that, then we're going to have to, say something. But we'll keep your secret but know that you can't do that.
So according to your logic,
however,
he could have said, I'm Jeff Probst's cousin, and they would have to maintain that lie. Jeff would have to say, yep, he's my cousin.
No, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, it is. It's
not.
It's a lie that he's propagated as his cover story.
So they didn't say, Michael's only 18. So why would they announce he's 18 later on? Because of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, that's
and
the risk that he took.
We know that Fiji's drinking limit is 18.
Right. Legal age for Fiji's 18.
Legal age there, 18. Moot point.
Could have been legally okay for him in Fiji to partake. Yes.
So why do you think, Mr. Contrarian,
I'm not being contrarian,
that they should out him that he's lying to the others?
No, I didn't say that.
That would be wrong. Yeah, you basically did.
No, I'm saying that they're under no obligation.
I think they are.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. You got a rousing discussion between us. Thanks, Josh, for the question. Next up, we got a call from Kenny.
Hey, guys. It's Kenny from Dallas. I thought it was a very, very, very strong episode, the best one of the season. Very, very enjoyable. Well, why on earth did Chris Noble not play his idol? There was no reason. He could only play it in 2 tribal councils. He knew that Dominic was voting against him. Dominic had played an idol. What was he thinking? He was out of his mind. I am going to miss him. He's certainly one of the more colorful characters in the past several years. His total lack of situational awareness reminds me somewhat of Coach's, and he has also one of the bigger egos. At least he makes the jury. It will be interesting to see if during the tribal councils he tries to get a lot of attention on himself. Too bad he didn't make it to the Loved Ones episode. If he doesn't have an identical twin, it would have been interesting to see if producers would have brought out a ground-to-head length mirror so Chris could just look at himself. Oh, well, I hope he comes back on another season. It seems to me that this is a season in which the women will predominate and let the men self-destruct. It seems to me that Kellen and Laurel would be my 2 top picks if I had to make a choice for a new USB. But with my track record, they'll probably both be eliminated in the next 2 tribal councils. Well, Chris got to play a game on Ghost Island, but it entailed no skill, so at least for me, it came off as a little bit empty. It would be better if the games entailed a little bit more skill. For example, they could rename this season Survivor instead of Fans Favorites, Fans versus Recruits, and ask them questions, and they would get advantages and idols if they got the questions right. For example, they start simple to harder. First question, who's the only 2-time Survivor winner? A, Francesca, B, Wendy Jo, I know I'm harping on Wendy Jo, and C, Sandra. Then the questions get a little bit harder. How many continents has the game of Survivor been staged in? 3, 5, or 7, excluding Oceania and including Central America to be part of North America. Obviously, if someone picks Antarctica, they're completely clueless. How is Survivor like hockey? Well, we just got to the merge, and 2 favorites didn't make the merge, Brendan and Stephanie. Same way the Stars didn't make the playoffs, even though we're a favorite. Now for my multimedia presentation. I know it's very rudimentary, but I've been moaning the fact that Survivor has no intro anymore, and this Ghost Island really is like, let's make a deal. So I thought we should have a new intro to this show, and here we go.
All right, come from all over the place to make deals here in the marketplace of America. Let's make a deal.
Island.
Here's America's top rated TV dealer, Archie Ho.
And Jeff Prost. Bye. Take care, guys. See you then.
All right. You got your let's make a deal moment in there. Good job. Thanks, Kenny. Next up, we got a call from Taz.
Hi, Joe and Stacy. This is Taz in Louisiana. I really enjoyed this week's triple vote-out episode. They voted out Chris. They voted out his ego. If you look at his edit and the Planet Fitness commercial that immediately followed his vote out, they also voted out his dignity. And I'm glad to see all 3 of them go. I had Chris as my vote-out pick in JSFL, but at the last minute, I overanalyzed and thought, he might get immunity, and decided that they would go for his biggest ally, Angela. So I missed out on the 2-point bonus, but it's all good. He's gone. I guess we were really lucky that when he went to Ghost Island, he chose to play the game and get that extra life on his idol that caused him to be overconfident and not play it when he really needed it. I enjoyed Tribal Council. So what was this with Dominic calling Jeffrey, then Chris calling him Probst as he was exiting? It just seemed kind of strange. It was so good to see Chris smiling as he got his first 2 votes. Then he got his 3rd vote and thought, oh, somebody else voted for me. Then a 4th vote. Oh, another person voted for me. And then when the 5th vote came, his jaw dropped, and that was his moment of reckoning, where he knew his goose was cooked. Bye, Chris. Also, I have to wonder if Chris was just so confident that he left the idol back at camp and didn't even bring it with him to Tribal Council. That would be fitting, since JT did the same thing when he had that idol. I do think that Dominic playing the legacy advantage was the right thing to do at the right time. There's no guarantee he'll still be there when they get to the final 6. So even though there was no votes cast for him, it was the right thing to do. Some people may disagree, but hindsight is 2020, and he did not have the knowledge that we had. It looks like Angela and Desiree also got a wake-up call as the votes were read to find out that they were the only 2 left out of the loop. I guess it kind of sucks to be Angela and Desiree right now. Well, I guess that's about all I have to say for this episode. Again, thanks for all you do. Taz in Louisiana, over and out.
Hey, thanks, Taz. I've been saying that about that Planet Fitness guy for weeks now. Joanne's like, no, he doesn't. But I'm glad.
Well, you said he looks exactly like Chris.
And he's got the Chris ego.
He does have all that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look exactly like Chris.
Thanks, Taz.
However, Taz, he did have the idol in his pocket.
Yes, that's true. He did have it in his pocket.
Yeah, he said that, and he had it in his pocket.
Yep. And I keep delaying this, but now I'm afraid I'm going to forget it. In the extra videos, you can see this progression, I think, where Chris is talking himself into waiting to play the idol. Because he's like, I may not, I'm not sure. And then there's one that, at least in the order that we watched it seemed like a progression. He was like, no, I'm going to save it. I've got this worked out so solid that I'll use it to tribal council. I mean, the tribal council after this one. So
it was the chocolate sauce on top for me.
Okay, good deal. Thanks again, Taz. Next up, we got a call from Kim-n-Cameron.
Hello, it's Kim and Cameron from North Carolina calling again.
Yes, I think we'll start out by saying the obvious, that it's too bad the idol's curse was not broken of JT. Chris went out in the exact same way, having too much cockiness that he didn't feel like he needed to play it, so that's really unfortunate.
So my math note this week is that when Chris was on Ghost Island, he stated that he had a 50-50 chance, and that was true for the first
The bamboo shoot, I believe, something like that.
Thing that he chose, but the next time he would have only had a 4 out of 9 chance, which is about 44% to choose, and then the probability would adjust as he went on. But I just had to throw that math thing in.
Yeah, so he was wrong about that. One thing that was interesting that I sort of caught at the very end after it happened was Desiree's and Angela's vote for Libby. I was so confused by that at first, but then I thought about it and realized maybe they were thinking longevity. If Chris had played an idol, which they didn't know if he had one or not, but say everyone was playing an idol, then they had 2 votes right there. They could have taken Libby out if they wanted, seeing as everyone else would have voted for Chris or Dom or maybe even Wendell. So it was kind of smart on their part, but at this point it was ultimately pretty dumb because I feel like Libby will find out and she could easily use that against them.
Yep, and I was really bouncing around with who I thought was going to go this week. At first I said, it's going to be Chris, and then Libby said she felt safe, so then I thought, well, maybe it's Libby, and of course the girls got together and said they were going to vote for Libby, and I thought, 3 people are going to play an idol, and then Libby's actually going to end up going home, but that's not what ended up happening.
Yeah, that made me afraid. I really do like Libby, so when I saw her say that, I'm like, that's not good, something bad is going to happen. And lastly, Wendell sort of just popped out of nowhere. He was obviously very strong when he was playing with the tribes, but all of a sudden now he has a big social presence to him too. He was seen as like the biggest threat. I think it's sort of just association with Dominic and how Chris lumped him with Dominic just because Wendell was the one that confronted Chris, of course. And I think it's also kind of interesting. I wonder what he's doing with that big idol he has, because he has the huge necklace from Micronesia. I'm wondering how he's concealing that so well.
So down to the end of the game, I'm going to have to pick a new USB, and I'm really loving the strong women that are left, but I think I'm leaning towards Laurel out of those women, but I really also like Michael as maybe my new USB. And I did have one last question before Cameron tells us his picks for the end, is who was a snuggling couple when Chris was about to go to Ghost Island?
Oh yeah, they did show that. It might have been Sebastian, but we were wondering. I think my USB, I stuck with Angela. I think I'm going to keep her just for the 24 points, just in case. I mean, it's not like I have a great chance of others. I mean, Mike will be kind of good, but hey, if I can get those 24 points, it'd be awesome. So, yeah, thanks a lot, Joanne and Stacy.
All right, can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say.
Good job. Thanks, guys.
As far as we could tell when we looked, we think it was Libby and Michael.
Mm-hmm. It definitely was not Angela. Her upper body does not match that
Well, and
person's upper body.
It wasn't Jenna and Sebastian.
It definitely
either,
wasn't Jenna and Sebastian.
because we saw them clearly.
Yeah, yep, you could see them. Yep.
So we determined
and they were not
that,
spooning. They were beside each other, but it wasn't
they
a
weren't
spoon.
spooning, yeah.
Yeah. So our best guess is Libby and Michael. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
Hi, Survivor fans. So let's get right into it. When they showed the previously on, I didn't remember how much of an advantage Dominic had with all of his found idols and the legacy advantage. I knew that most of this episode was going to involve the feud between Chris and Dominic, but what I expected didn't turn out to be true at all. I believe a lot of your fellow listeners who participate in the Fantasy League put Chris as the vote off, but I didn't. I put Libby as the vote out just because I thought that the feud would last a few more episodes rather than just this one. I'm not too surprised that Chris did get voted out, though. If I can recall, at every merge in the past, there's always been a clue for an idol hanging around at the feast. The production team was very sneaky this time by hiding the advantage inside of a merge buff. Chris was lucky enough to find it, and it was a different type of atmosphere to see Ghost Island lit up with the fire at night. I like that the game set up this time was different than the previous ones, where you only get one shot at guessing where the advantage is. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that well for Chris. At Tribal Council, could he have still played the idol, or when he lost his vote, he also lost the opportunity to play it? That was some immunity challenge. It reminded me of holding up a boom mic that production uses in both movie and TV shows. I have been going to an acting camp for quite a few times in the past, and I know how heavy those poles can be. I feel like the holding on part would have worked for me, but the balancing while doing it would have made it quite a bit more challenging. As for the next time on, it feels like forever since we saw this gross food challenge, and I believe the best, but I still don't think I can do it at all.
All right, we like that. Thanks, Jack. Next up.
We got to answer Jack's question.
Oh, sorry, what was it?
I don't think that he couldn't have played the idol at all. I don't think him losing his vote had nothing to do with that.
Say it in the affirmative way. He absolutely could have played his idol and saved himself. Right?
Yes, sir.
It's confusing to say it the other way. That's all.
Okay. Stacy has spoken.
Thanks, Jack. Next up, we got a call from Ann. Ann's back. Got a whole bunch of people back this week. It's great.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans. It's Ann in San Diego, also known by some as Thumbelina. I just wanted to call in and say how much I really enjoyed this last episode. I was screaming at my TV for Wendell to play his idol since he's my USB. And I really thought there was a chance Wendell was going to go home. And then Chris, I really enjoyed watching the downfall of Chris. I wasn't positive it was going to work, but I was really hoping. I really enjoyed seeing Ghost Island at night. I'm just so excited that I finally have a USB that has made it past the merge. I was on a terrible streak of having 2 USBs in a row that got voted out first. So just getting Wendell to the merge, I'm so excited. And I think I'm going to hang in there with him, even though it's making me nervous. So I got to go. I have to take my son to his swimming lesson. And I was telling my husband, well, if you're going to be on Survivor, you have to know how to swim well. And he just looked at me and rolled his eyes. But, you never know. So I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody else. And have a great day. Thanks for everything. Bye.
Oh, I like that. That's strategic long-range planning right there.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Great to hear from you again.
I don't think I would let go of Wendell or Dominic, for that matter.
If really hard to.
If I had them as my USB 24.
I think what we might be forgetting is how much of a goof. There's 2 things with Dominic. People were thinking that he was a goof, right? That he was just a clown. And then the other is that what we saw this week is, hey, you can't trust him. They got him tagged as a liar. Can't be trusted. Dangerous.
And
they
yet,
don't talk about Wendell that way.
Sebastian tells us how much he loves Dom, how much he missed him, and how
some
happy
of the
he was.
extra videos this week were enlightening. That completely. Sebastian had 2 stories, one about Dominic and one about meeting Donathan, and then his reaction after meeting Donathan. And both of them I did not expect at all. So, yeah, he's got some kind of Dominic, the dad of the camp kind of vibe or something like that for Sebastian.
Well, he loved his stories too, he said.
Yeah.
Enjoyed.
Must remind him
that.
of someone in his family. That's what that,
so
it sounded like that kind of a reaction.
We were not privy to that before.
No, they hadn't shared that part. Just more Dominic as the clown, the goofball running around, bungling his way into success. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
What's up? It's Park from Indiana, and that was an amazing episode of Survivor. It's just the best episode this season. Oh my goodness. Ghost Island was freaking epic this episode. I mean, even though Chris got something, I don't care. That was awesome, okay? And of course, Chris has the ego to think that nobody's going to vote for him. Maybe only Wendell and Dominic are going to vote for Chris Noble. Oh my goodness, but I love it. That was awesome. Finally, someone decided to play the legacy advantage at 13 instead of 6. They always say, well, I plan on being here when there are 6 people left. Well, guess what, buddy? You better play that thing right now when there's 13 people left so that you're going to be here when there's 6 people. And I had Kellen going. I thought that Chris would win immunity. Dominic would play his idol. Somehow Kellen would go home and it would be amazing. And somehow she wouldn't go on the jury. She'd just be gone. And yay. But nope. She wins immunity. Terrific. But yeah. Which sucked. I'm so done with Kellen. And still, she's still Navidi strong. Great strategy. We got to see some comedy gold with Chris and Dominic. I wonder whoever picked those 2 to be on the same tribe, I wonder if they knew that it'd be comedy gold or if they just got really lucky with that one. Because that rivalry is amazing. It's a highlight of this season. Chris was sorted out. They hugged it out. They said, all right, good game, man. Which I did not expect, and that's awesome. Looking forward to the next episode. Looks like Wendell tells Laurel he has an idol, which I don't like. I guess Laurel has a really good social game because people keep telling Laurel stuff, and they need to stop. And then also looks like Michael's gonna get targeted, and I don't want that to happen. Michael's too good. Like, he needs to be the Final 4 boot. Like, that's the perfect spot for Michael and his story of, like, going this far, starting from the low, and getting to that part, like, similar to Malcolm, that's just, like, the perfect spot for him. the 4th boot. I mean, I'd love to see him win, but I don't see how it's going to happen. Plus, I want to be the youngest Survivor player to win. If Michael wins, then, yeah. I'm loving this season. I think right now it's getting to top 10, like, in my rankings, as long as the winner's good. If the winner's good, top 10 for sure. If the winner's Kellen, yeah, I've been on the bottom of Jezebel, the side challenge, like, the whole time, and I do not want to sing again. So I think I got all of my save points right. So hopefully that gets me out of the bottom of the side challenge because I'm not singing this time. I'm gonna win from the merge on. I'm gonna be in the top. Just gonna climb my way to the top. Probably not, but one can hope. All right. See you guys next time.
All right, Parker. Tied for the bottom.
Me.
Yeah. Start warming up, buddy. And 4th boot's going to be who loses the fire making challenge. So if you think your boy can't make fire, then maybe that is the end of the line for him.
Well, the other thing is, too, that Laurel's a big threat. I could see people going after her. We've heard them talk about wanting to go after Michael and Libby, but wouldn't Laurel be the logical next person out of the old Malolo? Because she's very physical and she's very intelligent.
She's the only one that we hear talking about her as being identified as a threat. Other people aren't really talking about her that way.
Well, we haven't heard it, no. Well, I think because Dom and Wendell seemed to have brought her and Donathan in.
How much do you
For
think
now, anyway.
Kellen winning the first individual immunity will affect that perception?
I don't know.
Because Laurel went out sort of in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely Kellen and Chelsea and Libby all put thoughts in people's heads about their abilities to win immunity and do balance challenges.
Yep.
So, yeah, it draws attention. That's true.
I think that was good for Laurel to have Kellen go so hard and win that. Yep, for sure.
Maybe that was her strategy.
All right. Thanks again, Parker. Next up, we got a call from Jacqueline.
What is up, Joanne and Stacy? What is up, Survivor fans? This is Jacqueline from Orange County, California. So, the most epic battle in Survivor history. I mean, if you call a battle between an amazing Survivor player and someone who's so thick that they can't even see that they're getting voted out over and over and over again, I mean, I guess. If you guys want to see an amazing battle, I hate to keep referencing Survivor Australia, but it is my favorite all-time Survivor Australia. Check it out between AK and Henry. It's two people who actually know how to play Survivor, and that one was pretty epic, but this one was a beautiful disaster. I mean, you guys caught on all the points, from him being called out at Tribal, him having an idol, him knowing how Dom has an idol, and he still doesn't play his idol. Libby would have went home. He didn't even have a backup plan, even knowing that Dom has an idol. Even after Dom having an idol or playing it, it was just, oh my God. And I remember, also Joanne, if you were wondering how annoying his raps, because Wendell was calling him out, just go look at that video of his rap video on Ponderosa. I'm sure you've already seen it, but those who haven't, holy smoly. I feel most bad for the staff because it looked like they did not want to be there, and I hope they're getting paid more because of that. Ugh, it was so cringy. I can't. But anyways, yeah, so I got my first JSFL vote out point and first on the jury, and congrats to you, Joanne. I know a lot of fans got those points too, because it was a huge discussion on Facebook. So thank you to everybody on Facebook for pushing me in that direction. And also, were you guys calling me out on the side challenge next season because of my beautiful voice, or the latter? I'm thinking it was the latter. But so I just can't wait to hear what everybody else is choosing, because I think I'm going to go for Dominic. I think he has a chance to win it all. I think he played the best and he impressed me the most. And he has a really strong ally in Wendell, and I think those two can be unstoppable. But as for, the next time on Survivor, he might have made a small blunder, but I think they're both smart enough and both huge enough Survivor fans to pull out of that thing, out of the little blunder that they made. And not only that, they voted out so many good players already that there's a lot of goats still chilling on the island that they could win. They can get pretty far. I think that would be pretty cool for me. So I think Michael or Sebastian might be the next to go, because I think the girls are pretty smart enough to keep the machismo going with all the guys. So yeah, the Facebook group has been lots of fun, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Steve for all the cool artwork, and especially to you, Joanne and Stacy, and all the Survivor super fans. You guys have made this season so much fun. I think this is probably one of the better seasons, just because there's, I think, a lot of fans. I'm probably going on too long here, but all right, bye.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jacqueline. Do you realize there's only 4 men left in the game?
Yeah, I can see that from looking at Paul's awesome roster.
Oh, wait. There's 5. Oh, you can see that, can you? Well, good.
Oh, Mike's in the way.
We forgot about Michael.
Yeah.
But,
So I was thinking about what Jacqueline said about the goats. I'm like, wait a minute, who she thinks a goat? Okay, Jenna's a goat. Sebastian's a goat.
Angela's a goat.
Yeah, okay. There's 3.
I'm not even too sure about Desi.
I don't know. She's been calling out the people
You
who
keep
were
saying
going.
that, but
She called Brendan. She called Stephanie. She was calling for Libby.
I hadn't seen enough play yet to say for sure that she's
Desiree's really sharp.
affecting people's decisions, but we'll see.
I don't think Desiree's a goat. I can't see that. I think that's probably why I was tripping up a little bit on the question. But yeah, Angela, Jenna, Sebastian. Okay, I get those. Although, obviously, they're not showing us everything. I mean, they can't show us everything, but there's some pretty significant sides of Sebastian we're not seeing in his interactions. So there's a big social component that we're not privy to right now. And that's,
absolutely.
That's also, I believe that's probably at the root of why they're able to hold us in suspense going into tribal council, because they're withholding some pretty significant social elements in the game right now.
Well,
in the
because
edit.
I think these people are using the voting blocks, but we didn't see. Oh, shut up! We didn't see exactly where those blocks are. We saw those 4 women, and if that was, they deliberately discussed to, and they're not on the outside. They were chosen to vote for
like
those.
Cameron and KimJ were thinking. Yeah.
Then I don't know. I think there might be some tight alliances for Final 4 or 5 that we have not been shown a lot of yet. I just don't know exactly who they are.
Something, yeah, and they're so that there's suspense and so that it's a more enjoyable experience for us. They're withholding these elements like we're talking about, because we saw Libby and Jenna talking, and Libby was saying very clearly, I would prefer to keep Chris because Chris is loyal, like you mentioned in the recap, and he's not a liar. Right. So he's not a liar. So that got flipped, and that word got out, and somehow Michael knew. And so, yeah, I'm not sure where that connection is and how all that's being shared, but
I think they were really trying to just get everybody to get on the same page for this vote. And so I really don't think we fully have seen yet where the lines are drawn.
This next one's going to be very telling, because I think, well, we'll talk about it in the wrap up. Let's keep going because we got more. We still got more to go.
We do.
All right. Thanks again, Jacqueline. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, business picked up this week and another weak-gamed pretender was sent packing. I'm stoked that the individual games are finally starting to break out. Here's my other observations. The theme of this episode was Chris versus Dom, Duel of the Dodos. With all the war cliches we had this episode, it made perfect sense that Malolo and Yanuya arrived at Naviti Beach in military landing craft. Okay, I could kind of see that. Outback Steakhouse didn't cater this season's merge feast. I guess last season's cast were really bad tippers. Chris thinks he has a gift for rapping. I think he should stick to wrapping gifts. That's a stinker. Chris feeling something strange in his merge buff played out like the fable of the prince and the pea brain. As a mediator, Wendell is an excellent furniture maker. Well, that's good. I like that. It takes a twist at the end. This week's cursed advantage, an idol that overconfident people forget to play. Chris didn't want to be the guy with an idol who doesn't use it and goes home. Newsflash. He's that guy. I'm stunned that Chris made it to Ghost Island and back undetected. Even being extra sleepy and cranky the next morning didn't tip anyone off that he'd been out all night. I love the juxtaposition of Chris and Dom making similar arguments while trying to amass allies. It played like the old Dueling Brando skit from SNL. The image of the stars slowly circling in the sky was a nice touch, too. Libby didn't do herself any favors by almost winning immunity. I get the feeling that Kellen was the kind of teenager who built shrines to pop idols. Chris wouldn't be employee of the month at my office. When he goes to the water cooler, all productivity stops. The 4 Naviti women want Libby gone. We should call them the Mean Girls Alliance. I'm stunned that Chris's first tribal was at the merge and that he was sent home without ever casting a vote. When Dom played the legacy advantage, I expected it to trigger Idlegeddon. In Survivor's periodic table, Chris is a noble gas bag. That's good. Will Chris use Suave shampoo at Ponderosa? Chris was so worried about jam tomorrow, he didn't realize he was in a jam today. Next time, Laurel isn't buying what Wendell's selling, and the eyes have it for the Gross Food Challenge. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna, Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. What?
Just that visual, you could see the slime stringing from the leaf as they picked it up. It's just...
Oh, the eye? Yeah. Those are big eyes,
I'm very
too. Like,
visual.
I don't know, what was it, like a swordfish eye? What? Interesting. All right, thanks again, Josh. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jaywaffles.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor fans at home. This is Jaywaffles from Canada with some in-the-car thoughts of this last week episode of Survivor Ghost Island. Sorry for the ambient noise. I'm in the car. I'm in traffic. It's snowing in Canada, so what else is new? Okay, so I'm going to take a page out of Kenny's book here and explain how Survivor emulates real life. So it's a little bit of a downer, so I apologize, but it's kind of interesting, I think. So last week, a hockey team from Humboldt, Saskatchewan, a neighboring province to mine, a hockey team was on their way to a playoff game, and they were involved in a serious accident. They were going to be playing Game 5 of a seven-game series, and the previous game they had won. They pulled out an upset, and they were able to. How I found that to be interesting is if they didn't win that game, they would not have been in that accident, and all those sons, and there's coaches and managers and everyone, the sons, daughters, all that kind of stuff that were involved in it, and they would be safe. So how I feel like that's like Survivor, well, Chris, when he was given that option for the idol on Ghost Island, he was given a choice to risk his idol and to increase the power of it. Well, he took that risk, and he actually got one more tribal council out of it, so he was able to extend his chances in the game by taking that risk. If he didn't get that, he certainly would have played this idol because he wouldn't have had any choice. Libby would have been voted out. And now, again, I know it's not the same situation. It is a much different situation, but I just thought that was really interesting about how the choices that we make when looked at, taking a step back and taking a look at what those choices are and how that affects everything. I just felt that was kind of interesting. So on to some lighter things. I thought Dominic's call out of Chris at Tribal Council was so funny when he was voting. We were laughing our heads off at it. And Wendell's discussion or advice rather to Chris as to what he should stick to, I thought that was really hilarious too. Like you guys, I don't think that Dominic or Wendell have much of a chance to win. I think they do have too much power. A power couple can be two of anybody, and you know how power couples do in this game. So they'll probably go fairly soon, but it was really funny nevertheless. Now, I'm not playing GSFL, so I don't really do predictions, but I will say that I think Kellen has a chance. And I it's not like I like her game necessarily, but I think that if you take a look at the editing and where she's been throughout this game, she's been heavily featured throughout. She's gone through some insurmountable odds to get to where she is, being on Malolo as long as she has. They're really focusing on her story a lot more than they have for anybody else, and I think they're actually editing her to kind of be a likable person, which I don't know if that's necessarily the case. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for all you do. I absolutely love the podcast. I echo everybody's sentiments that this is as good as the show. I really appreciate it, and it helps everyone, I'm sure, through their life. And I want everyone to have a great weekend, and we will talk to you all later. All right, bye.
Oh, I think he did a Jacqueline parody there at the end. Did you hear that? I think he did. All right, I caught that, Jaywaffles. That was a dark cascade versus a comedic cascade. Interesting.
I definitely think Kellen's not out of this thing, and that she does have a chance to win.
If there was someone who had taken a class on how to get featured on Survivor, it would be Kellen.
Yeah,
that's
she
what
knows
she
how
reminds
to get
me
camera
of.
time. She does.
Yes, it's very
she's
savvy.
been good at that.
And I even caught her looking at the camera when they were coming in on the boat. So and you don't see them do that. They don't often show someone look into the camera like that. I think there was a moment when
alongside.
Wendell did it too. Yes.
She looked to the left.
She's checking her. Was like, okay, I'm here. The camera's there. Yeah.
I'm going to turn around and look at you guys.
Yeah. So did they get that shot? Yeah, I think they got it.
Here's the thing. Knowing that, I'm still not going to choose her.
No? Okay.
Because I just still don't feel a connection.
The winner's at it, don't you know?
Okay.
All right, Jaywaffles.
No, I want to make one more point.
One more point, okay.
I actually, even if that had happened and Chris only had this one opportunity to play the idol, I don't think he would have played it, because he talked about in an extra clip about he could either play it at the next two or keep it to use it to manipulate people in other ways, because they wouldn't know it was only good for them. And so I think because he was so confident that he would not have played it, kept
that's
it to
quite possible.
I think that could be.
It very well was in the Jackwagon playbook that he was working from.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Next up, we got a call from Night Nurse Jody.
Hey, Survivor family, it's Jody in Brisbane. I actually wrote notes this week as the episode progressed, and I was super proud of myself. And here I find myself in front of Officeworks at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning waiting to print a bunch of stuff out without my notes. So get ready for 3 minutes of unstructured thought as usual. Okay, so Tribal Council, couple of questions. So before Tribal, Wendell confesses to Dom, yes, I have an idol, but we don't see that information reciprocated back to Wendell. So did they go into Tribal? Did Wendell go into Tribal knowing that Dom had 1 or 2 tricks up his sleeve to play, or was he a little blindsided there? Because I don't know, I saw a little eye movement, and I thought maybe that Wendell wasn't all in on that. And then, so Chris had no vote, but nobody knew that Chris had no vote. So when it came down to what's-her-face and thingamajig voting for Libby, did each of those think, oh my God, it's just me and Chris, and think that the other one that wrote the same name as them could have actually maybe not been on the same side? Are those, like, what's her name, Desiree and thingamajig,
Angela.
Are they alone? Do they think they're alone?
Interesting.
Also, is it just my imagination? Haven't done a rewatch, but when Chris is creeping out of camp in the middle of the night to go to Ghost Island, did anybody else hear a squelch, squelch, squelch? Is it just me? I'm pretty sure it was there. I don't know. I was laughing anyway to myself. My goodness, the rap that Chris does at Ponderosa. Oh my God. The little bit at the end where they pan back and you see a couple of Islanders hosing him down and waving him with a palm frond and whatever makes me think maybe he's in on the joke, but I don't know. He's so funny. I'm so glad he's gone, but that was a bit of gold. And also, I just was listening to Rob Sestonino with Hannah Shapiro, and I just fell a little bit deeper in love with her when she pulled out a Buffy reference. So, all right, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Okay, let's see if we can remember all of Jody. We did not hear any noises, Jody.
Actually, that's not correct.
Well, not.
Joanne couldn't hear it, but we went back and we listened 5 times.
I don't know.
8 times. So we listened to that clip. You hear it and you see a leaf fall from the tree onto Dominic, who's in the hammock, and then Dominic flips it out and you hear it land on the ground. So I don't think that's got anything to do with what you were implying, I believe, with that word and how you said all that. So the other thing that you can hear is Chris's footsteps as he walks away. So that's all I got for you on that one. Was there something else?
I also don't. They're not telling us how open Dominic is being with Wendell, or if he's not.
Well, he had told Wendell before that he had an idol.
Did he?
Yeah, and I don't think that he told
a real one.
Told Dominic. Yeah, I don't think he. Remember, Dominic was going around telling everyone the fake one, and then he was telling lots of people about the real one. He told Wendell. He told Laurel. Who else did he tell?
Yeah.
Anyway, so there were people that he told.
But we've heard.
But I don't think that anyone knew about the
advantage.
The advantage. Yeah. Maybe he didn't share that. So, yeah, that could have been...
But we don't know that for sure because they're not telling us.
Sure, yeah. But that could have been what prompted the reaction she thought she saw from Wendell.
Okay.
Squelch. Oh, Jody. Okay, next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Wow. I really did not think that Chris was going to be voted out so soon. Having said that, this was a fantastic episode. I don't remember the last time two rivals just went at it at Tribal Council. Gloves off. It was just amazing. I give major compliments to Dominic for just going for broke in that Tribal Council. And I think Wendell did fantastic as well. I mean, it took nerves of steel for both of them to sit there, knowing that at least a huge conversation had occurred without them and that they were likely big targets. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved the editing on Chris, from the rapping to the bragging to the arrogance. You know, I'll give Chris credit for playing very hard, and he did. But for as much as he talked about trusting his gut and going with his gut, I think he completely ignored what his head was probably and should have told him, which was, you are guaranteed to get 2 votes. He was getting votes that night. His rival played a hidden immunity idol, or the legacy advantage, which essentially was a hidden immunity idol of sorts. His idol was only good for 2 tribal councils. I think Dominic just simply outplayed him, and it was just amazing to watch. And Wendell's voting speech, that was just so funny. And Dominic's too. I absolutely get a kick out of players who shout out who they're voting for while they're in the voting booth. It brings me back to Crystal and Randy, Jonathan Penner. That just made me laugh. Now, aside from the awesome tribal council and vote out and the rivalry between Chris and Dominic, I don't really know what the girls were thinking in targeting Libby at that point, because obviously that subplot had some role in derailing Chris's plans. I just thought it was really ill-timed. Libby doesn't have an idol. There's a lot bigger targets in the game still. I know she's competitive and she's dangerous, like they all say. She's playing the game and she's smart. But there was such a storm surrounding Chris and Dominic. Everybody else really could have just sat back and coasted on this one, let those two go at it, and then put their plan in motion maybe the next tribal council. I mean, I felt like the only thing really fueling that was jealousy. I don't know why. I mean, Libby's pretty, and Libby seems to have a lot going for her, but I can't remember who instigated the vote, but I think it was Desiree. The only thing I can think of is there's just this quest to be the top female, and one of them sees Libby standing in their way. And in my opinion, it's amazing that they don't see Laurel standing right in front of them, because I really think that she's one of the best females of this season. Anyway, that's it for me. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say and everyone else's comments. Till next week. Bye.
Thanks, Jen. I know Jen's going to be thinking about what KimJ and Cameron said there in terms of what role that vote may have played. Excellent. Next up, we had a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul is back in Louisiana, and first off, no, I refuse to do bad rap in my feedback because, like it or not, I have to admit that Chris is better at it than I am, and that's really pathetic. So, sorry, Mrs. C, just ain't gonna happen. Now, on to the episode, which for me had a little bit of everything. I laughed, I cried, I giggled like a schoolgirl when the final vote was read, and I'm not afraid to admit that I was jumping up and down in the living room. First off, though, is that one cruddy-looking immunity idol necklace, or what? I'm thinking that the art department was out to lunch when they made that thing. Okay, now to the meat of the matter. Yeah, like so many of our friends, I had Chris picked to go, so when he turned up a clue for an immunity idol, I was so bummed out. When he got to Ghost Island and we learned he could increase the lifespan of his idol, I knew things could turn out for the better, because we all know that an alpha male like Chris would never play it safe. When he got the extended life, I had a feeling that things could still work out in my favor, and Chris did not disappoint me at all. I honestly think that equally as bad as not playing his idol when he knew there were at least 2 people gunning for him was his brazen move of taking everyone but Dom and Wendell to the watering hole. He flat out showed everyone that didn't know any better that he was heading a dictatorship, and that was what got him all of those votes. The editing had me on the edge of my seat, but when that 4th vote hit him in the head, well, we all knew he was out of there. That said, I originally thought that if Wendell had played his idol, Chris would have played his. But now that I've had time to think about it, I'm just not sure if I believe that. I'm still unsure what he thought was going on around him with the ladies' votes, but Chris's cockiness is just too hard to shake, I'm sure. Now, when we see him at the reunion show, I'm sure he'll say that he changed, because who wouldn't be dying to say that after watching an edit like the one Chris had? But I really doubt he can change his spots. Chris is like a peacock strutting through life saying, me, I, and I'm not ashamed to say that here, thinking that he might hear it, because he needs to hear it. And is it me, or did Chris get a scorching edit throughout the season? Each week they played him up more and more with the words he used and the foolish music, and then ending with, or almost ending with, that hilarious Wendell Vodoff speech about Chris not rapping anymore. Then Jeff tells us to go to CBS.com to see what happened when Chris got to Ponderosa, which I don't believe they've ever done, but I could be wrong. And we all know what happened there. It's almost like CBS was trying to make him look bad. And yes, I know he gave them the ammunition, but, well, I wonder if I'm just in the midst of a conspiracy theory, or if Chris was truly thrown under the stupid bus by the editors. And that rap video, well, enough said about the cockiness shown in that. Again, a peacock comes to mind. So then, next to go, I'm leaning towards Angela. There's something cold and calculating about her, but only in appearance. She's out of the loop, and I think she's the next best bet. Desiree is also out of the loop, and she's my USB, but I have to say I'm switching. I don't know who I'm picking yet, but she hasn't shown me anything that makes me feel even remotely confident in keeping her. So, here's hoping that the next episode is as great as this one was. And for the record, can we not mention how my nose was whistling in my last feedback? Yikes, that was really stunning. Okay, I'll catch you all next week. Bye.
Self-inflicted there. Okay, good deal. Thanks, Paul.
That's okay. I couldn't breathe well this week. I went out of doors this morning. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you're doing okay right now.
I had trouble reading earlier, like I just didn't have enough breath to finish sentences.
Okay.
It is allergy season, and I went to the market, so I don't do well out of doors.
Mm-hmm. You think the women are really... They're going to end up running the whole show, don't you think? This pack of lionesses that are there?
I'm not sure, but that's certainly a possibility.
You think, like Jacqueline said, that Wendell and Dom can recover from this?
They could recover if they've got a strong enough alliance that they can hold together, but I could see, I thought Laurel was part of their alliance. I really did think her and Donathan were in pretty tight with them.
Sure.
And then, she is thinking about, they got too much power. So if she's already thinking along those lines, then that's what made me think, they, if their own alliance doesn't stick with them, they are in trouble. But they could pull other people in too. So I don't know at this point. I'm not going to choose one of the guys, I don't think. I think I'm going to go with a woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still leaning that way too.
I'm not sure that I'm going to go with Laurel because she thinks she's a big target. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's something, I don't know. But if she thinks she's such a big target, maybe she is.
Well, I think her physical stature causes her to be... You have an awareness of her from that perspective, I guess, constantly.
She's got it all, really. She's tall, she's strong, she's intelligent, she's good on puzzles. Yep. So, yeah, I would fear her.
What about the option of just going back to the Pagonging? Now that you got Jackwagon out of the way,
they could easily do that.
And Camp will calm down some. Is old Navidi Strong going to reemerge and, go to town on the Lolos?
Always a possibility. Yeah. Or they can go, oh no, I'm not in the majority alliance and I need these people to put myself in a majority alliance.
Yeah, let's find a new end story. Yep. Yeah, I talked about Jenna being a goat. I know she had game before. We heard her talking strategy with Stephanie J. So she may, and she, just like Michael and Libby, is talking about how they have a renewed outlook on the game. So maybe Jenna could emerge and actually be a threat if she's got enough social game to work some alliances and be fluid, and move those alliances around as she picks off one and then another and then another. You need to see that kind of activity
Mm-hmm. Well, I could see them if they have any inkling that the 4 Navidi women are pretty tight. They could Dominic, Wendell, even Sebastian seems to be close with Donathan and Dominic, according to him.
Mm-hmm.
Could pull in Jenna, Michael, Libby, and Laurel, at least as long as they needed to. They run the risk.
Take the Lions down, yeah.
Of, eliminating the original Navidi members enough that then Malolo might outnumber them.
Mm-hmm.
They could flip back. So,
well, if they did what you said, that would absolutely be the case.
Absolutely. So I don't know that they'll take that risk, but it's a possibility. Because I don't know. I just think Donathan's going to go a good bit further. I don't feel like people are targeting him.
No, that's always the case with the merge. This is a great time for the middle, the lower end to actually hide. The very bottom, if you can figure out that you're on the very bottom, which can be a challenge, I'm sure, they have more options and they need to be working harder. But someone like Donathan, he can just hang around in the middle and not worry.
Well, Jenna had a confessional, and I thought, wow, hello, we just met Jenna.
We met her before. We met her back in the first couple of episodes with Stephanie.
I can't remember that far back.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
But she was talking strategy, and I thought, okay, she's got some game.
Yep. Well, she does.
And
we've definitely seen it before.
So I don't think we can count anybody out, but I kind of expect them, if they don't go after Wendell or Dom, that they're going to go after Michael or Libby.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's going to go one of those two ways.
It'll go back and taking out the lows. Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised that they decided to do the easy picks and go for Malolo.
Which means that Laurel and Libby and Michael and Donathan and Jenna got to be working now. Mm-hmm. You don't want to wake up and realize that that's happening to you. You got to be making that connection and talking about how you want to be Final Four with Chelsea now. That you want to be Final Four with Wendell now.
Well, I think they're making. I think definitely Jenna and Libby are making moves, and I think Donathan and Laurel are making moves. But I'm still not sure about what Michael's actually doing because they're not showing us. I'm sure he is making moves.
According to our theory, he's spooning Libby.
Okay.
So she may have him protected there.
Okay. They do say, pay attention to who's sleeping
beside who.
Beside whom. Yep. And so if that was actually them, we're not 100% positive, but we think it is, then but they're both in the bottom. So they're the two targets. So I don't know that helps them in any way.
Right. Yeah, certainly Michael's number one on the Malolo hit list for getting rid of if you're playing the old physical threat game.
Maybe, but, they seem to, her name seems to come up just as much.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah, because they fear her a lot more, and she did way better in the challenge than Michael did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Now, there's usually some more physical challenges toward the end that the physical people have a little bit more advantage, I think. But for right now, these endurance things are... could be an issue.
Yeah, whether it's physical endurance or mental endurance.
Well, and this week,
to gross food challenges.
The gross food challenge is, you were right, it's immunity.
Okay.
So,
So they're just doing rounds there for people who get it down within a certain amount of time, move on to the next round.
Yeah, I think that's probably how that's going to go.
Yeah.
And
it's like the first two to
I
consume it and keep it
down. Yeah, you probably have to keep it down. I wonder if you have to keep it down or you can get rid of it.
I think
between each one.
Between the rounds, it's fair game to avoid it, I believe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Although you're asking for trouble if you start that cycle up. That's really, you're not going to be able to, I don't know if you could stop that.
To get the gag reflex going.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move along.
Move along. All right. Anything else you want to say? What a great discussion this week, huh? Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm still...
Liked all of it.
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward Chelsea, but I don't know that she could actually win. She's not necessarily
Of course she could win. There's going to be enough Navidi
pulling
votes on the jury for her to win.
Well, yes, I know it's possible.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't be thinking of her.
Yeah.
But I just still kind of like her, and she's kind of the dark horse, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would like to go with Laurel, but I'm uncertain now about her since I listened to her talk
Describe
about herself.
How big a threat she is.
Yeah, that kind of I went,
Well, you got to think maybe that's coming from somewhere. She's not doing a Chris. And
well, and if
just playing
she's going to
herself
turn
up.
on her own alliance,
Mhm.
that could hurt her in the end, or they could just simply turn around and target her.
Yeah.
They get wind of that, and they could go, oh, yeah, she's out of here. She's not with us. You're against us. And I think even Donathan would vote for her in a heartbeat if it was him or her.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
he would go along. But that's about all. Who are you leaning toward for yours?
I've had that same pull towards Laurel for a while, just because I thought she was playing so good, but there's definitely a lot of good choices. I'm really hesitant to go with one of the guys. I can say Sebastian, easy out. Michael just seems incredibly unlikely to me. I don't see Donathan winning. Even if he were there, I don't see him winning.
I don't know. I could see that they could give him the money.
Against who? Who's there? With
I
him
don't
and
know.
Angela and Jenna. Okay, maybe. Or him and Sebastian and Angela, maybe. That I can't bring myself to, throw my hat in his ring. I don't think Dom's going to make it, even with his good luck, with the advantages and the idols.
I think he deserves it.
Wendell's a
He's
front
played a
runner
good game,
too.
I think. Well, there's some things
The-
I think he's made mistakes, but
Yeah, just like their feedback was talking about that, and like Paul was highlighting, Chris got this super stupid edit.
he did.
He's like this, it's like all light shining on and magnifying these aspects that aren't going to be viewed as in a positive way, other than from an entertainment perspective about Chris. And so I feel like Dom started off like that, and then they backed off. They pulled off the pedal. And so that's why there's a more positive, in terms of the recency bias, positive perspective on Dominic. But he could just like this be back in that same lane with Chris, because I was thinking of them both in that same space to begin with.
well, and Wendell's well liked, it seems like, but if he talks too much,
They did the perfect.
talks too much.
Yeah, and they did the perfect thing having Laurel say that, because they had Laurel hold him up and say, "Man, Donathan and I really like Wendell."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, "Oh, wow, okay, that says something for Wendell, and it says something for Laurel too." So, from that perspective, and now to have Laurel saying, it's just so perfect.
Ooh,
to have her saying,
they're dangerous.
"I'm worried about them, dangerous."
They have too much
And-
power.
yeah, which means she needs to take out the threat. And I think she could organize that, and probably everyone would be pretty happy with Dominic going for sure.
But is Laurel sharp enough to go?
I wouldn't say sharp enough, but maybe just have enough juice.
Intuitive enough to say, not now. If I'm in
it could be a
solid
red
with
herring.
them,
Yeah, it could be a
not
total
now.
red herring. The other part of that sentence was, but I can't do anything right now because I need them
I
to
need
get
them.
these next 3
Yeah.
steps down the, the
I'm
road.
hoping that was her next sentence,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know
could,
that.
Could be a red herring. They've totally done that before. Yeah, definitely an enjoyable episode. I'm with everybody else. Loved it. It was great seeing that. And what a flame out. And to see that he wasn't even done flaming out when he got to Ponderosa. It just got worse. Oh,
and
my goodness.
He is thrilled to death about getting his own personal rap video done.
And I agree with everyone. They're going to bring him back. You look at the investment they made.
Please no.
Yeah, and I agree about the entertainment value, but I'd just soon have someone else who was more capable of playing the game, and I could play not just an entertaining game, but a more interesting game.
You know what, though? If they do bring him back, they will show a completely opposite side of him. If he gives them anything at all to work with.
Why would you presume that there is one?
Well, I'm trying to give him
Benefit
the
of the
benefit
doubt.
of the doubt that he will mature sometime and You know, that he'll get past that, or he'll deal with his
50s
arrogance
maybe?
with a
96,
sense of humor,
Mm.
which can also buy him some goodwill.
Oh, that would be the way to turn it around. To make him the most unlikeliest of winners. If that potential existed. That may be a parallel universe, though. I'm not sure that's here.
Okay, well.
Hey, we want to say thank you to everybody who took time to send in your thoughts. You made us laugh, you made us think. All kinds of great insights and predictions. Gave us new things, new theories to consider and ponder this week. That was fantastic. Good job. A+.
If you play our fantasy league, don't forget, this is the only opportunity you will have this season to select a new USB or the person you think's going to win this game. If your USB 24 is still in the game, but you want to choose someone else, you can change to another person for a possible 10-point bonus.
So you're giving up 14. Just be clear on that.
Yeah, you can't go back.
Yeah, and you need to be sure you want to make that change. Because if you change your mind and you're like, no, I want to go back. You already gave those points up. They're gone. Not going to happen if you hit that submit button. So remember, the submit button's important, but make up your mind before you click it for sure.
Yeah. Or if you're like us and your original USB is gone.
All hope is not lost.
Just choose somebody else for a possible 5-point bonus.
That's right. You can still lock in an extra 5 points. That could be all the difference.
The game is won in the finale. I mean, that's where you got a possible 50 points.
Mm-hmm. Well,
just for the
we'll
final
say
four.
all hope is not lost. There is a way to turn things around at the end.
Absolutely. So don't pay any attention to what your score is, because that usually completely changes by the finale.
Yeah.
So they really don't get discouraged if you don't have a big score, because most of the time somebody comes from behind.
Mm-hmm.
So hang
There's
in there.
still hope. See it and believe it.
That's right. And make sure you do that before the deadline, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, on Wednesday.
All right.
And I wouldn't wait that long, just in case there's bad weather, internet goes down, etc., etc., etc.
Yep. Unknown forces could be at work.
I almost forgot this week.
Yeah.
I made my picks, I think. I had like an hour and 15 minutes.
Goodness.
I don't think I've ever run that close. I just don't usually do that.
Yeah.
But I just got busy, and all of a sudden I went, wait a minute, did I do that or did I not?
Yeah.
I thought
Okay,
about
so
it.
there you have it. Don't be Joanne. Be early. Be like Goanne. Not like last week's Joanne.
Uh-huh. That's what my daddy called me. I should have named you Goanne.
I think we've heard that before.
Mm-hmm, probably.
Anything else you'd like to add?
You have, for sure. Nope, I'm good. Now we got a lot of thinking to do.
All right. Have a good one.